Good afternoon. My name is Karen Purser. I'm from Union County, Region 3, and I'm president of Union County RSP, but I have been treasurer for District 6 / Region 3 for now on how many years, I don't even know how to count. But when Linda asked me, would I share what I've learned about the treasurer's job, both at the region level, the district level, where I came in many years ago. But there's a lot of things I have to ask Tara about. Also, someone was saying she was your lifesaver. She's been, I think, all of ours. She's come to help us out quite a bit. Today, I'd first like to know where you're from so that I can have a general idea of. I do see everybody's name that's up here, and I do, but I don't recognize all of the locals or the regions. So if you don't mind, we'll go around and start. Let's say, Carol, why don't you start?
Okay, I'm on staff at the NCRSP office. Tara Williams and I are in Raleigh. As Karen said, we're here to help you with your local and any of your job responsibilities. And treasurer is a very important one. So we appreciate you being here today. Barbara and Barbara.
Okay, I'm Barbara Ward, co-treasurer of Randolph County Retired School Personnel. And
I'm Barbara Mallard, the other co-treasurer. We work together. Barbara does all the computer stuff. I keep the books.
And we've been doing it since 2000.
Bless your hearts. I'm Paula Harrison, and I think I'm the director of Region 4, one of the co-directors of Region 4, and I'm president of Alamance Burlington Local.
Pat.
Tricia Reagan, Chatham County, Region 4 treasurer for Chatham County. I'm the secretary for Region 4 under Paula Harrison.
Oh, Dee. Dee.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm Dee Williams. I'm president, Charlotte Mecklenburg Retired School Personnel Memorial Chair and Region 3 Community Service Chair.
Okay, Greta.
Retired from Surrey County, moved my membership to Charlotte Meck 2 years ago, was treasurer this past year, Region 3, with Dee.
Good. Miss Iris?
Oh, I'm glad you know my name. Okay. My name is Iris. As I explained yesterday, I took my computer in for service and the technician put my husband's name on it. But I'm gonna try to sign in on my other laptop with my name. But I am Iris Allen. I am with the Granville County the GCRSP, Granville County Retired School Personnel. I am in training to become treasurer for next year.
Great.
And I believe I'm in Region 5, and my president is Laura Keith.
Right. Miriam?
I'm Miriam Booth, and I'm just from Columbus County, retired. I'm just getting started, and I'm like someone else said, in training for treasurer. I will not take office until August, September. I don't think we have a president yet, but we are just trying to regroup and get started again. So this is all new to me.
Okay, good. Rita?
Hi, I'm Ree Warren from Duplin County, Region 6B. I am the secretary, and I saw the notifications of the meetings, and I've been trying to attend all of them since we don't have too many people who are attending the meetings, and I'll take the information back. Thank you.
Great. Carolyn?
I am from Haywood County, Carolyn Brace. I've been a treasurer for about 7 years now, and I'm from Region 1A.
Great. Vivian?
I'm Vivian Branch from Region 7A. I'm the regional director as well as the treasurer.
Wait, Kathy?
Kathy Meisenheimer, Lexington Davidson, Region 2. I'm the treasurer.
Wait, Mary?
I am Mary Morris, and I am treasurer for Region 7A, Pasquotank, Camden, local.
Annie? Annie, can you unmute, please? Okay, Evelyn? Okay, I see Madam President is here.
Yeah, Annie Smith is from Harnett County. But I'm not sure about Evelyn Barfield. But I'm Linda Gunner from Wake County, and I'm just concerned about making sure we dot our I's and cross our T's and don't break any laws or anything and keep up with all the money. And it's not an easy thing. And then always try to keep your scholarship funds, not try to keep the scholarship funds in a separate account. And then try to set up something in your budget for the foundation for public school children. I mean, even if it's $50, whatever it is, whatever your local can afford, that really helps us to raise that $34,000 that we raised. So you can bring that up as your treasurer. So thank you so much, because this is one of the hardest jobs to do, and a lot of people don't like it. So you must be maybe former math teachers, or you're really into numbers. So we appreciate you. But my camera's not working.
And then our lifesaver, Tara.
Okay, well, I thought you introduced me already, but I am Tara Williams, and I'm at the state office in Raleigh here to help each and every one of you and all those wonderful leaders out there that are giving up their time and their efforts to make RSP what it is. So thank you all. Okay, Karen, back to you.
All right. Well, what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about the responsibilities of the treasurer in your local or in your region, whichever you might have the responsibility of. Now, first off, I want to say that if you visit the website, the NCRSP website, and you go to a section that says forms and resources and click on it, you will find most all of this information that is discussed today. So I'm sorry I did not realize it was there beforehand, so I could have directed you maybe to print out some forms. But you could look at these and get some very specific information about, for example, the IRS message about how we handle our finances and what we have to be sure that we are following. It's about a 3-page information sheet, which everyone as a treasurer should read. It is on our website. There's also a couple of forms. They're elsewhere in the website other than that. Well, they're in the forms section that we'll discuss and all later. But your major responsibility as a treasurer is to keep accurate financial and bank records for your local or region. And you need to look at your bank statement every time it comes to you, and you need to address those checks that have been withdrawn, those monies that you have paid out. You need to check those off and be sure you can account for them at each report period. This is really important because sometimes we find out that things don't get to our locals as fast as we think they should, and then we need to follow up with our local. For example, I just had a few locals that had not deposited their second quarter dues payment from me. for Region 3 in our local unit. So I immediately called to be sure that they had gotten it in the mail and that, yes, indeed, they had it and that they were depositing it. But do keep up with your records faithfully each and every month, because if you get behind, sometimes that's where it's a problem of reconciling your records for each bank statement. And talking about your bank statement, you need, or bank account, you need to have at least 2 signed signatures on your account, not just one, because things happen, unfortunately. And if you only have one person to write or sign checks, it can become a great problem if that person is no longer there to do that. So you need at least 2. Some people have 3, which is fine also, but there needs to be at least 2. Can I ask the question now? Do you know if your local has at least 2? Is there anybody who does not that's on with us today? I think that's something we really pushed here in the last couple of years, and I believe most everyone has complied. And thank you so much for doing that. It's such a help when you have at least 2. Definitely, if you have a treasurer and a co-treasurer, which some units do, oftentimes they're on it, and the third person is the president. So you would have a treasurer and the president, or co-treasurers and one other signature of the president or their designee. Each month you should be receiving a copy of your bank statement, and that one copy usually goes to one address, one person that's in handling it. But for example, with myself, I try to make a copy of the bank statement and get it to my co-treasurer and let him have information that I have also. But there again, if I'm sick or can't attend a meeting, he then has that information with him. Also, if it needs to be.
Karen, I think Pat has a question.
Yes, Pat, I'm sorry.
In reference to the signatures, what I found in my 2 years as treasurer, the president was the second person, and a lot of times she and I will have to be reimbursed. So I'm finding that this upcoming new election year, I'm going to get 3 signatures, because most of the time she or I will receive a check, and I don't like signing my own self a reimbursement check. So I'm going to go for 3 signatures this year.
And there's also a question in the chat. Will both of these need to sign checks, or just one signature on a check?
One signature is all that has to be on the check. However, as let's see, it was Pat was just saying, it's often you don't feel comfortable signing a check that's made out to yourself. So that's why oftentimes, like for example, in ours, we may use the other person or the designee that's on the account to sign that, and if at all possible. Now, I know I spoke with my bank, the person I deal with at the bank that we use, and they've said, as long as, I said, once in a while it happens that I do have to sign for my mileage or something if they're not there. And since at that time we did not have but 2 on the account, and she says, that's fine, but be sure you have exact records, exact receipts for whatever amount you have. And we'll talk about being sure that you have the receipts or have information for your expenditures and down the line. But yes, it's really important to have at least 2. I can't see anybody else, Carol, that has a question. Okay, I'm trying to look now too. I had not been looking at that. All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about once you've got collected all your information, and you may meet every other month as a local or as a region. And then at that meeting, you need to have a financial report ready for your membership. And in that report, that should include information about what your deposits and expenditures have been that for that time period from the period before that you had met. Now, you may do something very simple, and if you look at this information on the website under a Treasurer's Handbook from 2022, it will show you an example of how you would make a financial report that you would present to your local or to your region. And most of you, they've been doing it a certain way forever and ever. And if you need any, if you want examples or samples from Region 3, I'll be glad to share with anyone if you'll just let me know. And at the end, I will give you my information and all as far as emails and calling them. But be sure to have a financial report prepared to hand out to each of your membership at that meeting. Now, you'll also, a big part of your job here at the beginning of a year, which is ours runs in about August, September, is when you start to collect dues from our membership. And when you may have a membership chairman, but it is the treasurer's responsibility. And oftentimes in a lot of locals, the treasurer is also / part of the membership group committee. But the treasurer will be collecting the monies and transmitting them from their local to the state NCAE office. So that information usually comes out from the NCRSP office in Raleigh. Tara, you can kind of help me with this, but it usually comes out to members that have cash payroll forms early August, so that we can send them out to our members that do the cash payment. But do remember, we are encouraging EFTs, which are bank drafts from the checking account, as much as possible. But the form should come to you, and it will only be a cash paying form. It will, those that are credit cards or EFTs will not be in that packet. Is that correct, Tara?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Right. And you can find out on the membership roster that comes from NEA the first of each month, and usually there's one sent out the 1st of August or the end of the year that will show you who is, if you look on the far, I believe it's the far right side, it shows you their choice of payment form for membership, whether it be cash pay, EFT, or credit card. And you can look at that list. I know our membership committee, when we get that, we go over, we look at it, we highlight all our cash people, we highlight any of our different color for EFTs and a different color for credit card, so we can pinpoint very quickly who does what, and then we can follow up. And I will tell you why that's important, because especially credit card.
Yes.
In credit card payments, every couple of years or so, we know that we get new information on our credit card that says we have a new expiration date. And when that expiration date is changed, it will bounce back a card that is used for membership dues or anything that it might be for any organization. It'll bounce back or cancel it. So usually come, I guess the first time I noticed it for our county and our local was maybe in January, where it says canceled members, but it may say you have that page that also has any deceased or any requesting canceling of their membership, but you'll also have something that says delinquent membership. And that is usually those, or most all that we've found, is the credit card has a new expiration date. So please encourage your members at your first meeting in August or September, whenever you meet, to realize that if they get a new credit card, it's not necessarily a new number, but a new credit card with an expiration date that has changed, they have got to notify the office in Raleigh.
Karen, you have a couple of hands up.
Okay, let's see if I can tell who they are.
Pat.
You may have to help me. I don't see all of them.
Pat's.
Pat, okay. Pat, you have a question?
You're muted, Pat.
Well, she was on her phone and she had said earlier.
Yeah, I've had to move from my car, so let's see if I can get back to me.
Your battery run dead.
That's what I thought. That's what I remembered her saying. It might go dead.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are, Pat.
Okay, I serve as treasurer and membership chair this year.
Okay.
And you said that the treasurer could also be a part of the membership chair.
Yes, you might be one and the same. It might be both. Like in our local unit, our treasurer is also our membership chair.
Okay, but the duties of the secretary is the membership person. So what you said, I may be stuck with membership again, which I don't mind.
No, Pat, that is incorrect.
The treasurer.
That is incorrect. Let's clarify. The portion of secretary is for the secretary. You are the taker and the holder of all meeting minutes. Some secretaries actually go a little beyond past the meetings.
I'm the treasurer.
Right. What you were saying a couple things together, membership chair, secretary, and all that. All of them are separate. Your members, as a treasurer, you will get reports. And I think that's what Karen was talking about, the reports that come in monthly. You have, as a membership chair, you can get those monthly reports. As a treasurer, you will get monthly reports. As somebody who is president and secretary, they will also get those same monthly reports. You're kind of working together in unison to make sure you're covering all the bases. The treasurer is the keeper of the financials.
Okay.
And as the treasurer, you will be writing the checks and you will be sending the checks to NCAE and keeping since your membership, you said you were membership chair also, you would also have the membership reports yourself as the membership chair. But as the treasurer, you're sending in the monies to NCAE. But there again, like I say, and like Tara said, sometimes we wear many hats, and sometimes if we have a committee that kind of works together with our membership, but it's the treasurer on within that committee too, that's the responsibility of dealing with the monies that go out.
Okay.
And
I have a question.
I see a hand.
Barbara. Ward. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, Barbara.
Okay. I have this. I hate the credit cards because more often than I like to count, somebody's had a problem with their credit card. They got compromised. They have to change to a new one. I didn't even think about it expiring. Most of them expire like every 3 years. I didn't even think about that. But I now have two that are showing up on my canceled memberships as delinquent. I called and one, this has happened to the second time, like about a couple of years ago, her credit card got compromised, and I called and talked to her, and that's a lot of things I can take care of for my members as treasurer, but credit card thing is not one of them. That has to be done normally I just call Tara and say, Tara, this has happened to a member, blah, blah, blah. What do I do? She fixes it and we're okay. Credit card, to my knowledge, I can't do anything about that. The member has to do it. So I have two right now. One of them is the same one that happened to a couple of years ago. My question is, how long? One of them I can't get in touch with. I have sent him an email and I have tried to call him, and I get a fast busy signal on the phone that I have for him. I've not received anything back from the email. I want to know, how long does this go on before you totally legally drop him as a member? And if they get dropped, then do they have to come back in? I mean, these are members that have been members for years. Their dues are low because of that. If they get dropped because of this, when they come back in, are they going to have to pay $144 membership dues?
No.
Tara,
What happens is the NEA generally has a 3 to 4 month rule with cancellations before anybody gets canceled for being delinquent. They get the notification either by email or snail mail, whichever one is cognizant to their particular account. If they do not respond by that third, sometimes they let it go 4 months with no payment. That's when they will cancel them. They can come back at any time and pay those dues of how much ever it is for that year. Anything that's outstanding. They do not come back at the current 144 rate. They come back as the rate that they were when it cancels. So that's all. Is kind of like when you miss a payment, it doesn't cancel you right out and you have to start over. It literally, you just make up the payment and keep going. And they do it the same way. So they can come back at that.
At one time, I know, I don't know how many years ago it was, but when the dues started changing, especially like NEA or NCAE dues started changing, maybe 2 or 3 every couple of years or so. At that time, there was something said that if a member dropped their membership and then they came back later, even if they were, if they'd retired in 99 and their dues are like $40 or something, if they dropped and then they decided to join back in again, they had to come in at the current dues rate. That's why I was asking, because these two, it's been 2 or 3, it's been maybe 3 months or so already. And as I say, I haven't been able to get in touch with the person. I don't know if they meant to cancel it or if it was an oops, but it is credit card. And that's, so I was afraid that if something happened and I couldn't get in touch with them, that they'd have to pay the dues. But that, at least I'm now glad that if we can't get in touch and it's more than the 4 months, we can still work it out and they won't have to pay, a really large amount of dues. So I'm glad to hear that.
I think we changed it, after COVID or during COVID. We had a lot of people then, we were like $28,000 worth of dues.
Oh, okay.
They didn't pay, so we were trying to be more lenient. I can't show my picture because my camera doesn't work. I've been getting.
Okay, any other questions? I still see one hand up, but I can't tell.
I have a question.
Yes.
Paul Harrison. Yeah, it's more of just an experience. We need to, at some point, talk to as many of our members as we can and encourage them to make a list of their deductions and things that come out of their credit card and their checking account that they don't want their children to cancel. We have had some people, well, she never goes to those meetings anymore. We're just going to cancel her membership. And that happened to a couple of our members that got real upset with their children over it. I don't know how you do that. My daughter wouldn't dare cancel my membership. But it's just something to think about, because kids, when they see, oh, well, she never goes to that meeting or she doesn't do anything with that, we're just going to stop it. But so just make sure they know And I don't know how to say that nicely to everybody, but make sure your kids are going to take care of you or whoever's going to take care of you.
Any other questions?
Barbara
Yes.
still has her hand
Okay,
up.
yes, I see one hand.
Is it me? Okay, that reminded me of another one. We have a member who now has memory issues. She is in a nursing home and they are in the process I've talked to her daughter and she's in the process of having to try to divest themselves of everything so that they can afford to keep her in that nursing home under Medicaid and her membership. She says legally her membership in NCRSP and NCA and all this is not considered a necessity. So that member, our member, the one that's got the Alzheimer's, is going to lose her membership, evidently because it's a legality in order to try to be qualify for Medicaid. And at this point, I'm not sure the mother, the one in the nursing home, may actually have NEA insurance. And if if her membership in NEA is dropped, then that's going to affect her insurance. Tara, is there anything that can be done under those circumstances?
If a local wants to step in and start as a whole, they have to agree, maybe going to their executive board and asking for a fund that will help pay dues in that kind of circumstance. That's allowable if you all determine that this is one of the causes or one of the reasons why you would give a scholarship or a grant to one of your members so they can remain within the membership. That is doable.
Okay.
But coming from the state, unfortunately, not at this time, no ma'am. But
Okay.
a local can definitely step in and help out their members if they so choose.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll ask a question at that point. If the local so chooses to do that, does that fund come from the membership monies or does it have to be a separate account? Tara?
That's just from the membership monies.
Okay. Okay. Now, that's one of the reasons I brought that up is because when we do scholarships, that comes from a separate fund. But if we do, if we would say that we are going to pay the dues of someone who, for example, as just Barbara was just talking about, then that could be used from our membership monies with approval of the member.
Correct.
The members.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Greta has had her hand up.
Oh, okay.
We in Charlotte have a post office box and all our mail goes there, and I live in Matthews, and I wasn't on the mailing list to get all these reports this past year. So can that be mailed to me and the post office box?
What kind of reports?
Their email. Are you talking about the monthly reports, Miss Greta?
Yes, I never was getting the monthly reports for membership. Well, it happened with lots of things.
Okay. Okay, so what happens is the leaders for, you say Charlotte Mac, correct?
Right.
Okay, Charlotte Mac has leaders. Whoever has their email address, it goes from the president to the treasurer, secretary, vice president, and also the membership chair. As long as there is an actual email address for you, it gets put into the NEA system and it goes automatically for a month. So I'll double check Charlotte Mac to see if your email address is down there to receive monthly reports.
Oh, I don't think it is because I wasn't getting. Okay, so you can do dual.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Rhea?
All right. Thank you. You just answered my question too. Mine was in reference to the receiving the membership rosters. I wanted to know who was receiving it because I don't. I think a few years ago I used to, but I don't anymore. And the reason I was wondering is because we meet every 2 months and we have a member who was in the category that you discussed prior to this question of being dropped because of her information. She was scammed, her bank account compromised, and I think that's the reason that her dues were no longer drafted. But anyway, I don't know if she's since gotten reinstated, and I wanted to follow up on it. So while we were talking, I looked in my email address to see if I'd received any updated rosters, and I haven't, so I'd like to be added. You may have an old address on me. So should I just send you the email address in the chat?
Yes, that will be helpful.
I'll do that now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that is another thing. If at any time your personal information changes as treasurer, please update the office in Raleigh, either by sending an email. And we do have new email addresses, or email addresses change. One of our members had their email hacked, so they of course immediately changed and had a new email or a different email, trying to be sure that they were not getting information, was not getting where it shouldn't be going. So if you have an email address change or any informational change, please let the Raleigh office know. All right. I don't think I see any more hands up.
Miss Paula?
I've got one more, and this is it. Okay, I can get 3 questions per Zoom. And it's not really a question. I was just sitting here thinking about it. We had a former president who was in a rest home. Her children were not living around here, and she had done a lot for Alamance Burlington RSP. And so in fact, she had been a member for more than 60 years. So we had this thing. It was right when I first became president. We were paying her dues because we wanted her to be able to stay, even though she was in a rest home and not coming to the meetings or whatever. But we called it the Golden Year Fund. And I guess it was just a line item in our budget, but she passed away a couple of years ago. But that's a way to get around it. And I think that's what you all were talking about. So now I'm going to take my hand down. I'm not going to put it back up unless it's an emergency.
Okay. And one thing we did as far as that too from Union County, when we have had members, like one of our members moved to live with a son in California, and she also had Alzheimer's. So therefore, I didn't know how much he was aware of NCRSP and our local unit. So I wrote him a letter and kind of explained the situation and explained a little bit to him why it was coming out of her checking account. Of course, he did know, but I just wanted to make him aware of that fact. So if you do have members that, like we've said, cannot attend the meetings or don't attend the meetings, if you know that they're moving away, or even in your area, living with a family member, or the family member has become taking charge of all their accounts, you might want to write a friendly note to them or send a note to them, just letting them know a little bit about the purpose of NCRSP, and that might also help them to make a decision. I see. I don't think I see another hand. Okay. All right. So if no more questions at this time, but if you have one, hold on to it. Let's talk about being sure that as treasurer, you should have a finance committee kind of built around you, or another 2 or 3 people who help to kind of set up the budget for your local, along with your president and whomever your local has designated, like a finance committee, along with the president, to make the decision. And you need to create a budget for your local that is approved by the executive board and the membership. and all, because they need to know kind of how their monies are spent. And sometimes we know that these budgets are proposed budgets, of course, and that they may have to be adjusted as the year moves along and as your financial picture, as it moves along during the year, it may change somewhat. So be sure now's the time. Once the new treasurer, you come in along with your old treasurer, your president, and whoever's on the financial committee of your local needs to get together, talk about how much money you have to work with going forward into our new year, fiscal year of August the 1st. Excuse me, July the 1st. Be sure at all times as treasurer, you are communicating with the president and your executive board. Attend your meetings, especially executive board meetings as well, to keep everybody updated with your financial picture. Because as we all know, things have become more expensive here over the last 2 or 3 years than they used to be, seems like. As treasurer, you need to be sure that you keep your financial records ready and available at all times, but you have to also be sure that you're keeping up to date and looking ahead to the end of your fiscal year and get your information ready for the audit. Now, on the website page under forms, there is a copy already of the 2024 audit, which is due to the NCRSP office August the 15th, by August the 15th. In that report, you have a front page that gives the financial balance of all your accounts for your local, and you must send that in along with a copy of the bank statement that shows the date of June 30th, 2023 on it. And this is important. I know in my region, we sometimes have had locals, they've got their audit in, but it's incomplete because they forget to send that last copy of the bank statement that has the date June 30th, 2023, that will capture the information that you have on your audit cover sheet.
2024, not 2023.
Question? And the form?
Yes.
Yes. Greta Boyd.
It's back to, you must get your budget approved by the board and the membership.
You should, yes.
At like your first member meeting, or how?
Well, I'll reference my county, for example. We meet usually the very first of August as an executive board, or maybe in July if we can find everybody still around. And then we talk about one of the things we've done. The treasurer, the finance committee really is already, they've met. They meet, usually they meet the end of July usually. And so they have already proposed what, looking forward, what kind of money so they have to use for the next year. Then at the first executive board meeting, we talk about the finances again and develop a budget. The budget committee works to develop a budget, and they present it, then have it ready for the first membership meeting, which we do in September in our county and in Union County. And then the membership, we also send it out in our first newsletter, which goes out August the 1st, because we have a lot of people that don't attend a meeting, don't have email. So we do a snail mail send out, and it includes the budget so that they can all look at it, and we make them aware that it will be voted on at the September meeting. If they have any concerns, they are to get back with the finance committee and or the president to talk about those concerns and all before, or how they would vote, whether to pass it or not. But yes, it needs to be ready for your first meeting, which is usually August or September. I can't quite remember when Charlotte Mecklenburg first meets. as a membership, as a whole membership.
You have a hand up, Karen.
Okay, see, I can't see all these on my
Mary.
Okay, Mary, yes, I can see it now. I'm
Okay.
around. I
Okay.
moved my stuff around.
Okay, now for the audit, did I understand you to say June 23? You June 24, right? June 30th.
Yes, I did say 23 because I had it looking in front of me, my old audit form,
Okay.
but I know the new form is on the website. But it will contain this June 2024, excuse me, I did misspeak there.
Okay.
And the new form is already on the website, and it is due in the office of NCRSP by August the 15th, 2024.
Okay, so you're saying we're gonna have to pull it off the website. You all won't send us one snail
Well,
mail.
now Miss Tara usually sends an email to all the treasurers that has an attachment with the form on, and I
Okay,
imagine
good.
she'll
Correct.
probably do that again.
Thank
I
you.
will do that.
All right, other questions? I'm looking across here. I don't think I see another hand. Let me see. So,
Wait a minute.
remember that if you, the next thing I want to talk a little bit about is your having separate accounts for the scholarship fund. Now, I think as far as I know, I believe most everybody has finally done that, is that they have separated their scholarship monies from the membership dues money that comes in, or the members, whatever the financial section is for that. Be sure that you have that separate, because you cannot take any dues money or membership money from that financial fund to pay a scholarship, whether that be one scholarship or more, multiple ones of that. Any questions on that? We've been talking that up the last 2 or 3 years, and I think that's kind of everybody's finally got to that point. I see a hand up.
Karen,
Okay, let
Miss
Tara.
Barbara's hand up, but I want to reiterate what she's saying because it's very, very important for everybody to really, really know. No matter what, if you have any finances basically underneath your local or your region, your dues monies are not to be commingled with any scholarship monies. Scholarship monies are monies that are received from donations or drives or anything you do to raise money for those scholarships. It has to be earmarked in your bank account as scholarships. No money that comes from dues, that means the dues checks that come in, you get quarterly dues for all of your members for the portion to the local or the region. None of that money should be mixed with any scholarship money. Your scholarship money has to be separate, and it has to be separate in your bank account with a different title saying that it is separate. So that means the account number for it is separate than anything from your checking or your savings. Okay? You cannot, it's a red flag with the IRS, is a big no-no, and you will get dinged for it. So you do not mix membership dues monies with any scholarship funds that you all collect. Okay. All right, Miss Barbara.
Yes,
Well,
Barbara.
okay, first of all, I have a question. Now I have a question about that. But was it mentioned about the audit form? I didn't know. Did you mention the fact that the audit form cannot be filled out until you have actually received your bank statement that includes June the 30th? Isn't that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So you can't, I didn't know if that was mentioned or not, because some of, like our June bank statement doesn't include June the 30th. So we have to wait
No, no, it
No,
doesn't.
oh, does it?
Mid-July.
Oh, okay. I thought, didn't it used to not? Oh, okay. Sometimes your bank statements cut off like the 23rd or the 24th of the
Right.
month. And I didn't know if that needed to be pointed out, that fact about the audit form. But I also have a question about the scholarship thing now. Now we have a separate scholarship fund, and it is funded by donations. However, when we have a member to die, then we take some of our basic bank, our basic money, and we contribute a small amount to that scholarship fund. So are you saying that's also illegal?
Do you
It's a
all set it
memorial.
up? Do you set it up in the budget at the beginning of the year where it's written that for memorials or honorariums for past members, that their dues or portion amount goes into the scholarship fund under their name?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that is legal.
It's a part of
Yes.
the budget. Yeah.
Correct. That is legal.
Okay. Thank you. I'm glad. I was
You're
getting
welcome.
worried.
Yeah,
Because we have several that are dying. I mean, we've lost several members over the last few years. We have an older membership, and I was worried. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And you can also accept donations. You were talking about members dying from, like we've had several who the children put in their obituary where it asked for contributions made to various things other than flowers being sent, and they have put NCRSP, the local unit name, and asked for a contribution made out to the scholarship in memo line to the scholarship fund, and then that goes into the scholarship fund in our local, and all. So you can do that too. All right. Other questions about scholarship? Okay, Barbara, is that your hand up?
I forgot.
That's
to lower
fine.
it. I forgot. To
I'm
lower
trying
it.
to see if there's anybody else.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I don't see any others, so we'll move on. We're just about finished with some basic information. Remember that you need to, we are a nonprofit organization, and the monies in the our finances are membership. They come from our people, and therefore we need to spend most of our funds, at least up to 50 to 85% go back to the members. For example, that might be that like in our local, we decide that there is one we have a lunch at our meetings, and there's one time during this year of our meetings that we have offer free lunch to the members, and the money is paid through the membership because it's going back to them. Or you might also, for example, I had one right here now, of course I can't find it. You might do I know some people do a little booklet, a notebook for the year for their members, maybe has a pin attached to it. It might have cost, I think somebody said they spent $1.40 last year for each member, and that they provide those for the membership to keep their notes and stuff in. But this is all, of course, when your finances are available. But do spend some money on your membership. Don't just let it sit there. All right.
What was the date for that? That balance should be lowered?
When the audit form information?
You said to spend the money by.
Oh, spend the money. I shouldn't have said by, for the members, that it goes back to the membership. And all. These notes will be, if you look on the forms resources section under treasurer, these notes are also on a flyer on that treasurer's information folder. One of the things, there are a couple more things. Treasurer, be sure that you're not making personal decisions about how your money is spent. You need to talk with the finance committee and all. They need to make the decision. you're writing the checks and using it. I will say from that standpoint, when I'm real cautious about writing checks because I look at the IRS information I keep getting and all, and I want it to be upfront and legitimate and straight. So therefore, if somebody asks for a reimbursement and there are forms that you might use for reimbursement, you know what the member is requesting funds for what it's for, attach a receipt. For example, I'll talk about conventions. The convention which just happened, we had members who attended, and we had so much in our local budget that we don't always pay for the full amount that it costs, because nowadays you can hardly go to convention for less than maybe $300, and that's a lot if you've got 10 or 12 people going. So your local may not be able to foot that bill. But for example, in our local, we say that we will assist the members that choose to go to convention with monies divided equally among those attending. This is in our budget description, and we have a total expenditure of $600 in our local. So, for example, we had 3 people going. So this year, each of the 3 members, and that was to help with room, help with food, help with mileage. But now, for example, we just took 1 car. And so each one of them couldn't collect mileage. So it depended. And then one person, we all divided 3, there were 2 separate rooms, so we divided it 3 ways. So that helped. But you may not be able to cover the whole amount for something like convention. But if you're traveling, you might say, okay, we'll cover 35 cents per mile. Now, I know that's what the state used to do. I think it's probably gone up. I know our region covers, it went up from 50 to 60 cents a mile. And then my local, we still stayed at 50 cents a mile. So you have to have all this in your budget and all so that you can cover it. But for example, on mileage, I asked the member to give me a reimbursement sheet that I have a form for, and they have to put down their odometer mileage from their house to our meeting location. And then we do it times 2, and then we pay them out for that amount of coverage for mileage. I know in our, you may, for example, have a fund for your president who goes out to other locals, or meets with other locals, or who has to attend a meeting, say in Raleigh, that you help them out with mileage or something like that. But be sure you have something that tells you what is spent and how it's spent, and keep a legitimate track of your monies and where it's going. Because if the IRS would happen to ask us, you want to have those receipts or those logs that tell how you are spending that money. Okay, I thought I saw a hand. No, I didn't.
It's me, Greta.
Oh, okay, Greta. Yes, okay.
We had actually 9 delegates, and we hadn't budgeted enough, but we were doing it on a reimbursement. And anyway, that's just, I don't think going to ever be possible anymore, because hotels ran from 180 to 242. That's the figures I was getting. Well, that alone wiped out and more. So it's gotten so expensive. And the travel, they used to have it in different regions. I remember that, going to Winston-Salem or Greensboro or different places, but now it seems to always be Raleigh. So I just wanted to say, I was shocked at how expensive it all was.
Tara, we're all rooms. It was 159 plus tax, which was basically 180. And so how could a room be more than 180? You were handling the finances for the state.
Well, would that be if they registered later? I didn't question it.
Yeah, I would have asked, I was asking Tara, because that was the rate within the block. And so, yeah, I mean, everybody should make their reservations early so they can get within the block.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's one thing too. Once reservations opens, go ahead and you kind of know how many members you're going to have, and if you get one delegate for every 10, isn't that correct? In your
Correct.
membership, so you could go ahead and make registrations for 2 rooms, 3 rooms, whatever you might have to need. And then, of course, you can always cancel them. But to get the best monies, you've got to do it early. So think about that. Now, if it was $290, that would have been just a regular room price, I think, without the NCRSP discount at the Embassy Suites. I believe that's.
I had one lady that got it for $220 and somebody got it for $240 about a week out, just at the hotel rate. But again, that's where you have to set perimeters so people are not getting, it needs to be equitable, but they need to be economizing too. And if you're going to pay any amount, then that needs to be decided ahead of time. That's some kind of guidelines that you have to propose when handling those reservations, or you're giving everybody a certain amount of money. Like maybe you're giving them $100 a piece, therefore together that would pay for one room.
I think we'll have to go to just a set amount and call it a stipend and not continue this reimbursement. I had one reimbursement form that was 2 nights and mileage, and it was over $500. And of course, had to have a little contact. These people were very gracious, but everyone was.
Well,
but we couldn't pay that.
Be sure you have verification. Did they send you did they give you a copy of their room?
Yes,
okay.
The room. And
well,
then the mileage was just the math.
Right. Okay. And you just have to, in your budget, when you meet now to set up your budgets, folks, you have to be realistic and think about if like we have a line item in our county, and I'll just speak from my experience, or our region that says we'll pay so much per person, and it's not necessarily the full amount. It depends, because you have to look at your finances and go from there.
I'll be well
Karen,
aware.
can I interject for a second,
Yes,
please? I want to make sure we are covering as much of these bases as possible. When we're talking about something like your finances when it comes to reimbursements for convention, there's a couple of different caveats that you have to be aware of and know that you have to be really, really meticulous at the beginning, definitely when you're making your budget, to set a preset amount of how much you want to reimburse, because sometimes we know at the beginning of the year. When I say beginning of the year, I'm talking maybe September, August or September, when we actually make convention hotel commitments. So we'll kind of know exactly what our budget is going to be for a room rate, and where we are as in in the city, so well, in the state, excuse me. So you'll know what kind of mileage that is going to be, reimbursed, so you can kind of keep those numbers at bay. But we also will let you know beforehand, like you have groups of people that are on the executive board that are covered for portions of their expenses coming from the state. So, say if you had somebody in your local that you were trying to reimburse, or your region that's on the executive board, they have certain expenses that are already covered. So, they would not be going to you all for reimbursement for that particular expense. And if you ever have a question about anybody from the state executive board, what the NCRSP state office covers for them, you can always call us and ask us, because you should never be receiving reimbursements from anybody on the executive board for all of their expenses, because the state office actually pays for different positions, pay for different amounts on them. Okay. So you can think about that when you're thinking about to your budget of how much that you want to allocate for each delegate. A delegate member that's not on executive board may, incur more costs on their portion, because some of it's not being funded from the state office. But you encourage them to ride together, room together, and you can always use as an example some of the state's expense allocations. So like you get so much, like 50 cents for per mile for mileage. They do in-state reimbursement for a day's per diem for food is $50. So you can work with your budget, but kind of keep in line with what the state does, and maybe help you when you're thinking about how much in your budget you want to allocate for expenses to help. I don't think we very rarely find any local that pays all of the expenses of a delegate coming to convention, but it is just to help supplement, so it's not a burden. Okay. Oh, Miss Paula had her hand up.
Yes.
Yes, I know I said I wasn't going to speak again, but you know how that goes. One of the things that's important when we start planning for convention is to, as long as we can afford to do it as a state, and as long as we've got people who are interested in doing that, is doing having the virtual option. I had 6 people from Alamance Burlington who were coming for in person, and then I had 6 people who said, I want to just watch online and vote and do those kinds of things. So we could have sent 16 delegates, but we didn't send that many. Plus, but just remember, when we start talking about doing an online, just like today, you're sitting in your house or you're on your veranda doing a Zoom, you could do that for convention too. And I know it costs money at the state level, but I think it's important that we give people that option. That's me. Bye.
And something else that as treasurers, you really do need to know when you're working with your local and your region finances. The IRS deems any one particular person that is giving an amount over $600 for a reimbursement or a payment, they're supposed to file a 1099. That's a IRS expense, or what they call income. Just like if you were a contract worker, you did little odd jobs that you got paid for. Anything over $600 has to be reported. So if you all were giving one of your delegates, say they wanted to go on a mission trip, or if they wanted to go and conference, and you are allocating a certain amount over $5.99, you will need to have a 1099 file for them. So just keep that in mind. If you are making any budgets where you are allocating for any officers or any persons within your unit to get any money over $600, you have to file a 1099. And that's IRS guidelines. That's nothing we NCRSP per se has to put on it. That's an IRS mandate. Okay. For anybody who is literally, it helps when you are reimbursing and not doing an advancement. Reimbursing, they actually have those receipts in hand. It says it. You're actually able to get a tax ID number. Those things matter. So if you can at all help not advancing, but reimbursing, it will help you keep your books in order, especially with the IRS. Okay. All receipts, all receipts, all receipts have to go in with every reimbursement form that somebody turns in. No pictures. They actually ask for original receipts.
Copies. Yeah, no copies.
Okay.
You have to have that original.
That's right. Because just know, if you all, for any reason, and it has happened before, any local or in a region gets called in by the IRS with their finances, the people that are authorizing signatures on that account are going to be responsible for that. Okay. It will not be NCRSP. It will not be a member that you gave money to and they didn't send in a receipt. It is going to be the sole responsibility of the authorizing signatures that are holding all things with that account. Okay. So just be very, very meticulous when you are working with the money for your local and your region.
And that's why keeping receipts or keeping that paper trail is very, very important. On the NCRSP website, forms and resources, if you go down to resources and look at treasurer section, the IRS information is written there. I think it's about 5 pages or 4 pages to read. There's a W-9 form if you needed it. And there's is it 1099 or 10, what's that other form, Tara? We just, 1066?
1099.
1099. Okay. It's that form that you have to fill out if someone you're having those larger expenditures. That's why it's really important to pull that up, make yourself a copy, and read through it to be familiar with it, because we are the ones who will have to show our little box, just like we do for our personal IRS information, tax information. So hold on to it. Also, I looked and looked, Tara, for the form. Somewhere I thought I had a form that told me how long to hold this information. How long should we hold each year's treasurer's information? How far?
I believe it's 7 to 10 years, but I can
7 to
double
10.
check.
That's what
It's
I'm
7 to 10
thinking too.
years.
But I couldn't put my finger on the paper that showed me that I had seen before. Or maybe somewhere on the website too, it might have something that had for all of the offices how long we needed to hold on to our information. I think that's where maybe I saw it, but I could not find it.
I will make sure that it is up there.
Okay. When you have a chance to peruse some of these back meetings that you did not get to, go to the website, click on the recorded session and look at that, because as someone mentioned, there's been a lot of wealth of information this year, and a lot of it's different things I had not heard last year in other meetings too. Tara or Carolyn, would you like to Harold, would you like to add anything? Otherwise, that's
Um,
all the notes I have.
Miss Mary has her hand up for a
Okay,
question.
Mary. Yes, Mary. Sorry, I didn't look at the hands.
Okay, this is for Tara. I have a little boy that's
Okay.
6. I had to step away from the. What did you say about the 1099?
That's for anyone who receives funds over $600.
Okay, so it wasn't a balance. It's someone who receives funds over 600.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so if our balance is $1,300, $1,300, we don't have to do a 1099.
Okay, it depends on what it is.
That's the balance.
The reimbursement is one thing. If you are giving someone an allotment to go and do something, that's something different. Okay.
No, what I was saying was that the balance in our treasury at this point is $1,300. Do we need to do? I caught the at the end of you talking about it, and I thought you were saying that if our balance was over $600, we had to do a 1099. But that was
No,
not.
that's giving a person. That's giving an individual that kind of money.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your answer.
No problem. Miss Greta?
Greta.
When will we get the fourth quarter money from the region?
Okay,
Yes.
you haven't got the third yet.
Well, now my paper said third.
Your
We got
paper
the
said
third.
third?
Not us.
We got the second.
No, from
You
Karen.
only got. I'm region 3, Greta, and I've only sent you 2 for Charlotte Mecklenburg. Usually we get the third and then a closing one in September.
Right. Fourth quarter doesn't come out until after September closing of the August 31st books from NCAE.
Your third one usually comes out about, was it the end of May last year? I mean, Tara?
Yes.
Sounded right.
Yes.
I think that's what it was.
Somewhere around there. Let me look over here and see what you got.
Oh, I see. I have final quarter.
Like
Okay.
after
Last
that
year.
was final of 2022, 23.
Correct.
Okay, and I think that was about September. But see, due to my mailbox situation, I didn't always get these on time, but 21st quarter, I do. I have not gotten third quarter. When will that one come?
No one's gotten that yet.
No. Third quarter usually will be sometime this month. Let's see
May.
here. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's usually been the end of May or the early June.
1st of June, yes.
Okay.
I would like to
Try to
add
get you as
something.
much as possible.
This is Dee. I wanted to add something. Greta did mention the delegates from Charlotte Mecklenburg. It was unusual that this year we had 2 requests that came in for overnight for 2 nights, but that has been communicated to the individuals that we will only pay for 1 night. So we still had some questions, and she wanted to, which you answered today, the question about the mileage. And so for the future, because we are a large local and we're concerned about the membership numbers, as delegates come and express an interest in going, Greta will probably have to make some adjustments with the new leadership. So again, just wanted to clarify that we did have some people that requested to be paid for 2 nights, but we're only doing 1 night. Thank you.
Any other questions? Let me scroll through again to see if I see any other hands. I don't think I do. If not, I'll ask I'll be glad to give you my information. I am Karen Purser. I am Region 3 Treasurer. If I can help in any way, my email is Karen, Karenr, Purser, Purser, @gmail.com. And please put that R in, or it's going to go to Australia, where I would like to be, but I'm not. And my cell number, if you'd ever like to call, I'd be glad to try to answer questions. But you know, Tara's got the on top information. But my number is 704-737-6499. Thank you all for being here. I hope we all have a great year this year. And time
thank you
moves
very
right
much.
along. Thank you,
This,
folks. Bye,
this
everyone.
is, it's a wonderful meeting.
It was.
It's a wonderful
was.
meeting.
Really
Thank
was.
you.